This is episode 119. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to Wellness in Every Season, the podcast where we explore the rich tapestry of wellness in all of its forms. I'm your host, Autumn Carter, a certified life coach turned wellness coach, as well as a certified parenting coach dedicated to empowering others to rediscover their identity in their current season of life. My goal is to help you thrive both as an individual and as a parent. I have Angela back on with me again. I met Angela, has it been 2 years now,
Yeah,
at a
yeah,
retreat
yep.
and instantly connected with her. She and I collaborated on a program that I created, and she is now here because she's taking it to the next level. My program is not as hands-on as her program that she's created is going to be. So let me back up just a little bit. Angela is the owner of Upward Resume, and anybody on any Facebook group that I've looked at or Instagram, social media in general, who is looking for resume help, they post looking for help. And there are so many comments saying, you should check out Upward. You should go to Upward. I had help at Upward and it was so helpful. And just glowing reviews all over the place. So I'm sure what she is going to be talking about today will be the same. But what she is really diving into are the people who want to start their own business, don't know where to start. And I feel like this is such a great branch of your business because there are people who are starting out thinking that they just want to work for somebody else. They just need to get back out in the job market or change professions. And through that process, they're realizing, no, they actually want to start their own business. So I love that you have this, so that you can be even more a la carte for people. So tell me a little bit, let's back up before you really dive into this and tell me what it was like for you when you first started out. You have this idea for a business. Not everybody's listened to the episode, so you'll want to catch them up on that story again.
Sure. It is an honor to be here with you, Autumn, and thank you so much for that glowing introduction. I do love that when before I even see the question on Facebook, somebody else has chimed in for me.
Love it.
I know. Yeah, I do too, obviously. So I created Upward Resume. We are a resume writing service. We do LinkedIn profiles and all the written pieces of collateral that you need to keep your career moving onward and upward. So I have 6 children. And when my kids were young, my husband at the time was in graduate school. I did a whole bunch of freelance editing and writing jobs and fell into resume writing for another company and did that for a few years. It was a really great fit for me in a lot of ways. I loved that I would get a resume project, do it. It takes a few hours and then I'm done. So that worked really well with my schedule with all these little kids. I think I have a talent for seeing what makes people awesome and reflecting that back to them. And honestly, Autumn, I think you have that talent too. So I use that as a resume writer. But after a few years, I just started to think, man, I would do this better if I was doing it on my own. And in fact, I could charge less and do better work and make more money myself if I was doing it on my own. So I knew absolutely nothing about running a business. I had never wanted to run a business, but I said, what if I just started my own business? And I had 2 brothers in particular who were like, oh, yeah, absolutely, do it. No problem, easy peasy. They were totally wrong that it was no problem and easy peasy, but they were totally right that yes, I could do that. So I started that business. I had 5 little children. I think the oldest was at the time and just jumped in. And I love the kind of motto, you either win or you learn. And I think that's how I started my business. I just jumped in and some things did not work. And when they did not work, I learned something and figured out what to do next. And there's lots of other real upsides for moms in particular in running a business.
I had never heard that motto before. I just would start there. I love it.
It's a
It's
good one, right? It's so
you.
true.
It's so you. I can see why it resonates for you. And I'm sorry. I know I'm cheating because I already know her. Hopefully, you guys get to know her a little bit better at the end of this. Okay, we have the beginning you, your origin story, so to speak. And I know, and not everybody else knows this, that you have at least one child who's special needs. So I can see how it was even more difficult. I know how difficult my life is with just 4 kids, and I have one that is a handful, is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
We had him tested 'cause we're like, Is he on the spectrum or is it something else?" It's something else, but it's been quite a journey, and I know that it has for you as well, and we've discussed that several times just on our own. And you now have employees working for you who have worked in the niche that they're now helping to write resumes for, which I think is amazing because that really helps them the people who are having the resumes written have the right verbiage and just the way that is written, it totally makes sense to me because if you were writing a resume for me, it needs to be very different, wording wise, everything than my husband,
Exactly.
who, yeah, very heavy computer engineer, very not on this side with me.
Mhm.
So it totally makes sense. You went through the school of hard knocks for your business, and now you're trying to help people not have to go through that as much as possible. It sounds, tell us what this is like. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about the details, like what that looks like and what the end goal is.
Yeah, absolutely. I started my business from the ground up. For several years, it was just really myself as a freelancer. And then as my kids got a little older, I was able to grow it up a little bit more. Last year, I ended up getting a divorce. And so now my business is my main source of income. During all of that process, all of that, you either win or you learn. I learned a lot of things. And looking back, I can see so much. Wow, if I had just had these few key pieces of information from the beginning, I could have worked more efficiently. I could have avoided some big problems and pitfalls. So, this year, I have created the collective. The website is and the collective is a business launcher. So if you are a person who has been thinking about starting a business or wishing you could start a business, the collective takes you through step by step, week by week, a proven simple process to get your business up and running right away. And the goal is to get the doors open so you're making money, taking new clients, get you making money as soon as possible. And then also, nothing teaches you how to shape your business and create your products and do your website messaging and all of those things. Nothing teaches you that like actually starting to work with clients. And I'm sure you've seen that, Autumn, where you think you've come up with this messaging or this service that you think is really going to resonate with your audience. And it turns out the thing that's really lighting them up is something different. So you need to learn that and pivot a little bit. It's a 12-week program to get your business up and running and then 12 more weeks to learn, grow, refine, and scale. And I am really excited about it. It is everything that I wish I had when I started. We build your first website for you. So that's done. You're not spending hours and tons of money on that. And then, like I say, open for business and making money by week 8 of the program.
That is amazing. You mentioned that you've had a divorce in here, and I know off camera last time we recorded that we were discussing that, and it sounds like this is your new baby now that you don't have that friction going on in your life, that you have your new focus, and that this is your way of releasing peace and joy in the world now that you are in that place yourself. That is, I'm excited.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful way of putting it. I really do feel like for me, a key to success in business is that I am committed to having an abundance mindset and a commitment to optimism, even when all signs point to the opposite, even when it looks like there's no reason to think that things are going to work out. I am committed to believing that things are going to work out because I am committed to making them work out. And I think that is my approach to business. And so I'm really excited to share this with other people. I know that there are people out there who have an idea for a business or have a skill that they would like to share, or feel like they need to start something new. But all of those logistics of getting your business set up and doing all the business infrastructure, they sound no fun. They're really overwhelming. So I am really excited to just help get people through all those initial roadblocks so that they can start doing whatever it is that they want to bring into the world.
I know there's statistics that are overwhelming. I don't even know what they are at this point of how many businesses close before the end of 5 years because
Yes.
owners don't know what they burn themselves out, work-life balance. They think they just need to work more instead of the working smarter, and they don't know what steps to take. For a lot of them, they don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to find their ideal client, what their ideal client even looks. They're like, "I have a website." It doesn't work that way. There's so much more in
I
there. They
know,
don't
we
know how to be
wish.
a good boss. There's so much there. So I love that you have this and that you have all the experience to back you up. You're not just coming out of nowhere. That makes a very big difference.
Yeah, so here's the statistics that I know. Most business owners make ten to $20,000 of mistake in their first year of business. The majority of businesses do not survive past 5 years. The majority of woman owned businesses don't make over $1,000 a month. I am a big believer in the importance of women having access to their own money. There are so many studies of the good things that happen in the world and in society when women have access to money. Women do good things with the money that they have. And it really changes how you feel about yourself and how you show up in the world when you are creating your own money. I am a big believer in women having access to their own money.
I know so many women who are financially abused from their
Yeah.
significant other. So makes sense from just that point, even not even hitting all the other points that you just made. Okay. Talk to me about why struggle with actually starting their business. They have this idea for sometimes decades before they even get there.
Yeah. I think moms in general struggle to find the time and invest time in new endeavors. So that's why I love that the collective is a step by step. You're going to do a few hours each week, and little by little, it's all going to come together. But the reason why I think starting a business a really great fit for mom is the time freedom and the money freedom. The downside of having a business, as I'm sure there's always something more you could and should be doing. You don't clock out and then you're done. All the time, there's more that you could be doing.
So
It's all up there in your mind, whirling around. It's fun, it's exciting, you really want to, but there's very little that you have to do. You get to choose. And so I, for example, almost never set deadlines for myself in my business. I set goals, I set benchmarks that I'm working towards, but I almost never make it a deadline because I know that my time is not always totally in my control. Maybe the kids all get lice tomorrow, or it's dance competition season, or somebody gets sick. I get to choose as a business owner how hard I'm working, what projects I'm working on first, what I'm choosing to just not do, clients that I don't want to work on, projects that I don't want to work on. So that time freedom is a huge asset to being a business owner. I think I was never more grateful for my business than I was last summer. It was my first summer as a divorced lady, and my teenage daughter wanted to sign up for this dance conference thing. It was like 3 days, all day, every day. And I took her to that thing and just brought my laptop. And when she was in class, I would find a place to answer emails or catch up on some work. I could be available for her anytime, whenever. I can organize my time to be available for my kids when I want to, and I can work like crazy and get a big project done when I want to. So that flexibility and time freedom is huge for moms.
that totally makes sense to me. And for me, when I was finishing my degree and figuring out what I wanted to do, realizing I had kids underfoot, and then COVID was happening during this time, so it was really just that, okay, kids are going to get sick, snow days are going to happen. I'm the default parent for that because my husband works an hour away. We tried to move closer, we moved further away from his work. The housing near his work is awful. So I needed a flexible job. I needed to be virtual. I just fell into this because of an internship I took, because of one of the last classes I took. It just aligned. It was one of those, I need more of this. And I know so many other moms who are like that. And this year in particular, we've had a lot of snow days used already, which means kids are out suddenly. And it also means that summer break a little further away than it was originally. That has to be made up somewhere. And here on the East Coast, you don't even get an inch of snow and things shut down. It's very different from
Yes,
where you are, where there's feet of snow and no one cares, and
that's
there's
right.
potholes and no one cares. I used to live where you are, so I can talk about that for a while. But it's very different. I have some other questions for you. So you answered that one already. You talked about a lot of the pros of owning your own business. What are some of the cons?
Yeah, I think the flip side is you definitely have to manage that stress of there's always something undone with your business. You never get to the end of the day and you're like, okay, done. Everything's perfect. There's definitely risk. Things in your business could fail. Some things definitely will fail. And so there's risk involved. So I do have some friends who are business founders who, after a time, were like, you know what? That's it. I just want a job where I go in, I do my work, then I come home and I forget all about it. As moms, we are usually pretty good about getting a lot done in any given bucket of time. If the house is empty for 3 hours, we're going to get a lot done. So it's, I think, really a matter of knowing yourself. Do you want to have that time flexibility? Do the hustle, but be in control of what's going on with your work time? Or is that just really not a good fit for you? I'll say another potential downside of having your own business is it's called the cupcake dilemma. So let's say you're really great at making cupcakes. You love making cupcakes. So you start a cupcake business. What happens next? You are spending so much of your time doing everything but making cupcakes. You are ordering and paying bills and hiring people and blah, 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 blah. So for me, I found that I actually really all of that running a business stuff. It's like a puzzle. I like figuring out what am I going to do next? What's the next creative idea? What's the next thing that my client base is telling me they really need? But if you really do just want to make cupcakes, then maybe you should get a job making cupcakes. When you have your own business, you're doing a lot of other stuff in addition.
I really discovered that when I got into coaching, thinking, okay, it's just going to be clients. Oh, it's all this other stuff too. I need to embrace that. I'm grateful for the things that I've learned. And the pro and con that I found with having a business is how much you have to get out of your own way and how much personal growth you have. There is no way I would have had all this personal growth if I did not become a coach and start my own business. And I am grateful for it. But when some of that stuff that I didn't realize I had, those blocks, those mental blocks come up, I'm like, oh, I'm not ready for this, but it's not moving and I need to figure this out. Not my favorite.
In terms of growth, because that really is what it is. Some new area of work or of life that you've just never grappled with before. And this is giving you an opportunity to learn and grow in that area.
Yeah, before I could be like, oh, that's just the boss needs to figure that out. Or no, that's them, not me. I'm fine. Whatever. When things come up enough times, like, oh, no, it's actually me. It's a me problem that I need to work on. And my biggest thing that I know I've talked to you about and you counseled me on is knowing when to clock out. You need to give yourself more space. And I realized that as a business owner, you need to give yourself more space and you need to be taking care of your wellness a lot more than if you're just an employee because you're stretching out those 8 hours a day. You can totally
Right.
get it done so much less than that, but you're stretching that out. And sometimes it's just because you need to be there because you're open, but there's
Yeah.
nothing that needs to be done. It's all been done. So that I just remember that kind of boringness that would happen. And now there's not because as a mom, I only have this amount of time and I need to shove all that work in there and that little tiny bit of time. I'm on board with that.
Yes,
Definitely
exactly.
the time balance, taking care of my wellness, being more in tune with my family and their needs as well. There's a lot of that is actually a pro and a con
Mhm.
because I am a workaholic. It's very ingrained in me because of my childhood. I saw my dad being the same way. And I know it goes back further than that because my great grandparents opened a bakery. And if
Mhm.
you know anything about bakeries, they work all the time. So it's rewriting some of that. And I would not take any notice if I was working for somebody else.
Yeah, for many years, I was very committed. I stopped work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that was non negotiable, even if there was so much pressing business. My kids are much older now. For example, right now, one son is doing his homework and another daughter's at dance. So I do work later into the day. What I'm working on now is, in my mind, what I call it is don't be a jerk to yourself when it comes to scheduling things. I will flip a couple days in the calendar and then write myself this big, huge, long list of work that is like 14 hours worth of work. So, my rule is to try not to be a jerk to myself. Don't make myself these big, unachievable lists that are just going to stress myself out.
You know what I found with that is I will do that, but it's more of a wish list. And sometimes I will then take what will most light me up or what will make me feel like I've accomplished the most or what will give my business the biggest push. And then the other things, remembering that my wellness matters. And if I'm going to work really hard one day, the next day, it, I can't. It's just not going to be that same level. So it's really giving myself a lot of grace in that area. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, I think that's really smart because you don't want to get your tank down to zero at work because then, like you say, you want to turn around and really be present and engaged for your family. So you've got to leave gas in the tank.
Otherwise, you're sick in bed and then you're good for neither.
Yeah. Or grumpy to everyone.
Why did you call it the collective?
It's the collective because we really wanted to emphasize that it's a coming together and a sharing of ideas and best practices. My business partner and I both really believe a rising tide lifts all boats. We believe there's plenty of room for everyone to make the money they want, start the business they want. Even if there's somebody else that's doing a similar business, there are other wellness coaches than you, Autumn, but nobody brings exactly what you bring. And so we really believe there's room for everyone. So the collective is that spirit of collaboration and room for everyone. And then also, what we're hoping is once we have got a bunch of founder alumni from the collective, we can use them to start sharing each other's social media posts and so forth, and really be a community of uplifting each other's businesses.
That sounds
Yes.
okay. So let's see. What's my next question? Tell me the keys to success. So even if people aren't, if they're on the fence about starting a business, or they're not sure if I should do this, what are the keys to success and what can also help tip them over the edge? Yes, this is for me. Now's my time.
That's a really good question. I think two really important keys to success for starting a business are to just do it and to start simple. It's really easy to compare yourself. One of our very first founder members of the collective was talking about comparing herself to the home edit. And she wanted her website and various things about her business to be like the home edit. You're not going to be like the home edit right from the get go. That's a great benchmark to have your eye on and be moving towards, but you're not immediately going to be an Apple computer or some huge brand. You're going to start small. So, the best way to learn is to just start and give yourself permission to be a little bit messy, to be an amateur, to be a beginner. So, for example, I really recommend that you start your business with a super simple website from a template like Wix or Shopify. Pick a template, change the fonts, put in your content, and that's it. It's not going to be an award winning website, but just getting it done is a million times better than waiting for perfect. I really recommend that you start a new business with 3 products or 3 service offerings. You probably have ideas for more. That's okay, but just start with those 3. And then the other one I would say is to focus on clients, not followers. Sometimes it's really easy to get caught up on, I want to have a million social media followers. I want to have thousands of people on my email list. I want to post a reel that's getting a million likes. There's a difference between followers and revenue. What you really want is clients. And even if you only get a couple clients, maybe each of them is paying you $3,000, you're already making huge progress. I know business owners who have many followers and are just not making a lot of money. So just keeping in mind, it's about clients and revenue, not just about followers and likes.
Oh, I love that, and I struggled to learn that, so I'm right there with you.
Easy to get caught up on the follower side.
Yeah, and what I love is how important it is to get feedback from people. Like, "This is what I actually want," not whatever the thing that you're offering. Like, you really need to dive into what are they searching for? What are they gonna
Mhm.
be saying, "Shut up and take my money," over? We've all seen
Exactly.
products or services that you're like, "I don't need to read anymore, don't tell me anymore, I just want here's my money, sign me up, I need this."
I think the first question you start asking yourself as a business owner is, why do I want to start my business? What am I here for? What's going to be better about my life and the world if I start this business? Because that's going to be your motivator. That's going to take you through the times when something totally fails or does not go as planned. But then your second question is, what do my clients need? What is the problem that my clients are having that I can solve? What's the gap that they need me to fill? What's their desire that I can fulfill? So you're not really thinking about what can I offer? You're thinking about what do they need from me and reverse engineering your offerings from that direction. And I feel like I'm constantly in the process of how can I better understand what my clients really need and how can I tweak what I'm doing to fulfill that even more than I am right now.
And I love that I've seen your prices. You aren't trying to make a ton of money with a few people. You really are in the service industry. And those are the type of people that I want to spend money with that are really about service, really about meeting a need. So that is something that I recommend, first of all, is they'll be doing it for the money, period. Do it because you actually want to serve people and make money doing that.
I think it's great to want to make money. And I think it's really important to have a mission behind your money making goals. So I think I agree with you. If it's just the money, then you're going to get burnt out. And I think that callowness or emptiness will show through in your business. Whereas if you truly believe, I'm not a super sales oriented person, I'm a pretty introverted person, but I do not mind at all selling my business, either Upward Resume or The Collective, because both of them, I totally believe in the value and service that they provide. I always say, nobody on the planet gets excited about resumes except I get totally excited about resumes because I have seen the difference that they can make in people's lives. So you definitely need both halves of that equation, I would say.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So tell us again where to find your website, where to find you. Sign me up, take my money.
Yes. So if you need help with your resume, your LinkedIn profile, a job search, find me at upwardresume.com. And that's upward, UPWORD. Get it? Upward resume. And we're on Instagram and LinkedIn and all the places at upwardresume.com. And then for the collective, find us at jointhecollective.biz. That's a .biz, not .com. And then our Instagram is a little tricky. It's join the collective on Instagram. And we post lots of tips about starting a business. We are posting insights from other business owners on mistakes they've made and how they've overcome them. So it's a really great place to be.
Are there any last thoughts before we close out for the night?
I think I would just echo the point that you were making, that as women and as moms, we want to embrace that process of nudging our comfort zone a little bigger and a little bigger, trying new things, doing something unfamiliar, doing something that feels scary, doing something that you thought was not you, but maybe could be you. I think as moms, that's just really important because sometimes we spend so much time helping our family members learn and grow and expand and launch and do new things in their lives. And we need to make sure that we're doing that for ourselves as well.
Oh my goodness. Yes. There's
Yes.
so many women that their kids finally leave the nest. They don't know their significant other anymore. They don't know themselves anymore. And is that where midlife crisis comes from?
Yeah,
What if
that's
we
right.
are continuing to update our Google Maps of ourselves, so to speak, and knowing ourselves and rediscovering and trying new things and being okay with things not being great? I'm starting pickleball and I'm terrible at it, but I'm learning and I'm mostly having fun when I get out of my own head and I should have done this differently as the next ball's coming at me. I'm correcting myself for the last one. But the thing is, I am learning new things. So when my children are out of the house, I have things that I can do and enjoy. And what's even better is I'm doing them now. And they're watching
Yes.
me do that, which is so good for them. So I
Yes.
think for me, a huge thing with pickleball is my husband and I signed up for a beginners league. And we signed up thinking that we would be at 2 totally different times, so it would not even bother our children. No, it's during their dinner time. They're staying up late. It's almost an hour drive, and they love it. Where I felt
Mhm.
like I was sacrificing their time, it was this big just takeaway from them type of thing. And I'm now realizing how good it is for them to see me being a person, trying something new, seeing me have
Yes.
fun, them learning about something that they never knew about because we never mentioned pickleball in the house before I took my first class, and it was just because my last one was going off to preschool, and I had a little bit of extra time, and I didn't want it to just go into coaching, I wanted it to go into me as well, and I'm like, "There's a class at the YMCA, I'm gonna sign up for that," and then it's just snowballed from there, but I'm realizing how good it is for my family to see me learning and growing and developing and trying new things. So that it's not just me coaching them through trying things, they're seeing it as well. So,
Yes.
anyway, I think that we set so many things aside for later when we don't have to.
Yes. I have seen some research that one of the best indicators of children's future success is the happiness and fulfillment of their mother. So we make sacrifices all the time, but that felt so empowering and validating for me that one of the best things that I can do for my children is to be my most full, fully expressed, happiest, developed, excited, rounded person.
Oh, I'm gonna have to remind myself of that because there's so many times there's, oh, I just have to do it. Let's take a step back and make sure our own well being is being taken care of and not just we're giving, giving, giving and our cup is empty, but we're still giving, giving. No, we need to take time for ourselves. Thank you for that. And I'm going to let that be our final thought. In the description are all the links to find my dear friend Angela. And remember, she does resumes and she helps you with your business. And I'm sure you can start at one and end up at the other. I'm sure that she will have many
You
clients who
bet.
do that. You can totally have this be your side hustle while you're working. and build it up
Yep.
on the side. I know lots of people who do that. This has been the way my coaching practice has been. My full time is momming. Anyway, it's being a mom, and then my part time is coaching. So join me in doing a full time and a part time. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for being on.
absolutely. Thank you, Autumn. It's been such a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I am your host, Autumn Carter, a certified life coach dedicated to empowering individuals to rediscover their identity, find balance amidst chaos, strengthen relationships, and pursue their dreams. My goal is to help people thrive in every aspect of their lives. I hope today's discussion inspired you and offered valuable insights. Stay engaged with our wellness community by signing up for my newsletter at wellnessinEverySeason.com/free resources. When you join, you'll have the option to receive a 5-day guide called Awaken and Unwind. 5 days to mastering your mornings and evenings, along with free guides, special offers on my programs, practical tips, personal stories, and much more, all related to wellness, by signing up for both offers on the page. Don't miss out on these valuable resources designed to help you thrive in every area of wellness. Join today and start your journey to wellness in every season. Your shares, subscriptions, and reviews help us reach more people seeking empowerment. So please spread the word about our podcast and about our newsletter. Thank you for being a part of our podcast community. I look forward to continuing our conversation, sharing stories, and exploring wellness in all of its aspects. Take care until our next episode. You can also work with me one-on-one or on demand through one of my programs by visiting wellnessinEverySeason.com/programs. One last thing to cover the show legally, I am a certified life coach giving general advice. So think of this more as a self-help book. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, so this podcast shouldn't be taken as a replacement for professional guidance from a doctor or therapist. If you want personal one-on-one coaching from a certified life and parenting coach, go to my website, wellnessinEverySeason.com. That's where you can get personalized coaching from me for you. See you in next week's episode.